What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Guys of Texas. We are recapping the UTSA Texas game. I happened to go to the game. The boys watched it on TV. A lot to unpack of what we didn't think we were going to have to unpack here. Go over the stats real quick. UTSA McCowan had 21 catches of 132 yards passing. UTSA rushing leader was Henry. He had 65 yards. He beat what he had in the last two games. UTSA leading receiver McEwen with 5 receptions, 27 yards. On the Texas side of the ball, Quinn had 14 to 16 passing, 185 yards. Ended up going out for injury. Arch Manning comes into the game, only had 9. He only went 9 of 12, 223 yards, average 18.6 yards passing per play, 99 overall QBR rating. Leader Texas rushing was Gibson with 75 yards and 13 carries, average 5.8. Leading Texas receiver, of course, Ryan Wingo, 3 receptions, 127 yards. Right behind him, Isaiah Bond, 5 receptions, 103 yards. Boys, this was not the game that we expected. It was a game that we expected, but not in the didn't happen the way that we thought it was going to. So Quinn is now currently injured. Abdominal strain is what they are saying. We noticed he was also messing with his thumb before that. So what was your takeaways from the game? What did you guys see from the TV aspect?
It seemed like it definitely wasn't the game we expected. The score doesn't reflect how I feel about the game. I was really frustrated with a lot of points of the game. Didn't feel like I don't know. The whole time I just felt like we weren't handling the game, handling UTSA the way that we thought.
You were negative Nancy in the group chats at
Was that?
the game. I was like, he was like, man, I'm like second. It was first quarter. He's like, man, I'm not liking the feeling of this game. And I was like, are we watching the same thing? Like, you think they're coming back here?
Like we were still dominating, but it just always kept feeling like we were missing on little things, or just I don't know. The team that I'd hyped up in my head this week, maybe I got too ahead of myself. Just dumb mistakes of like that lateral or the side pass that Quinn threw, and they had to recover the fumble behind the line. Those types of little things. That was just like not what I expected out of our team. Obviously, the score is great. We beat the heck out of them, but those type of details I was frustrated with.
Yeah, I mean, the start was a little sloppy. This was supposed to be a boring game that we just kind of cruised, and then that first quarter ended, and I was like, crap. We have penalties, injuries, just kind of funky plays here and there, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be one of those games where we're going to have have some grit here. Main takeaway, man, I mean, just seeing Quinn looked good when he was in, moving the ball. Don't know why we were throwing like every play there at the start of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I think it ended up being 9 or 10 passes in a row to start the game. That was kind of bizarre. I wasn't really expecting that, but and, seeing Quinn go down, which was kind of bizarre because he, hurt his thumb or, hand on that touchdown throw to Isaiah Bond early. And then honestly, I still haven't really seen much on what happened with this abdomen strain. I tried to go back and look, and I really can't find a whole lot of pinpoint. Yeah, that's exactly where it happened.
It was that play to that Gunnar Helm hurdled. Could see it was that throw, something to do with his muscles, the way he torqued into it. Yeah. That's what it looked like to me, because he was hurting play before that a little bit, but I think what he did. Obviously, I'm not an expert on this, but it looked like he had tweaked it, and then once he made that throw, it made it worse. And then he tried to muscle through it with a handoff. And watching Sark, he said, Coach Choice was sitting there watching. He said, something's not right. And then when he handed the ball off the next play, Choice was like, yeah, no, we need to get him out of there. And all of a sudden, Quinn is on the ground. So I don't know. I was immediately Googling WebMD stuff the second you guys told me what Sark said at halftime. So we're trying to figure it out. We will see. Coach Sark said that Quinn's spirits were higher because it's not a structural damage. It's not like it was a rib like we originally thought it was going to be. It will take time to heal, but who knows how long. I put that on Twitter, and an Aggie fan said, "Oh, it takes 2 years to recover from that." I was like, "Well, you wish." But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Luckily, we have Louisiana Monroe, and then after that, we have a worse team, it appears, in Mississippi State. So, thank goodness that Arch is going to be able to develop in these games versus, oh, hey, next week we have OU. Because, in my opinion, looking at this at the stadium, that sack he took was right in front of us, and he spent so much time in the pocket. I mean, he had all day, but it didn't seem like there were some times where, a lot of these plays were quick reads, and he had like one guy he was going to go to, and he was already set on which guy he was going to go to. And it looked like in that sack that both the guys were covered and he didn't check down fast enough. Also, Sark talked about that play specifically is the play clock had run down, and Sark took some of the blame on that, saying we didn't get the check down fast enough. And he said after he got sacked, he went right to the sideline, because I watched him. I really spent a lot of time watching kind of that Arch going to the sidelines and how he interacted with Coach, because Coach went right to him, and you could see Arch sat there and told him exactly what happened. And Sark said that in the interview. He said he came down. He said, I didn't have enough time to check down to the next play for the coverage that they had. I ran it. I screwed up. And he said for him to be able to see that in real time was good. It looked like Sark, in my point of view, was running, like I said, he only had 12 attempts in passing, and receivers caught 9 of those, but it looked like he was trying to get the basic plays down for him in game play. Like a lot of these were screens. They were behind the line of scrimmage passes were a lot of these. So it looked like he tried to slow the game down a little bit for him after taking that sack, and really just get the basics down is what I got from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was a little surprised at how much RPO offense they were running with Arch in there. I mean, that was a lot more than we see with Quinn, I feel like. And then I don't know if y'all saw, but they clocked Arch at 20.7 miles, almost 21 miles an hour. And that was actually faster than Tyreek's fastest time last year. I didn't know he had that speed, to be honest with you. He got out and kind of shook that guy whenever he got about 15 yards past the line of scrimmage, and I was like, oh, it's a good run. And I was in my head, I was like, go down, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, like he's got a shot here when he turned that corner. But I wasn't expecting that speed from him and that RPO type style offense from Sark. But I guess it was just one of those things that's his comfort zone, and they stuck with it. So, but that was a huge thing that I saw, that I was like, man, I didn't think Arch had those wheels.
It's quick, man. Do you think they're going to run the same starting play again next week for him? Swing out to the right, the throw?
I mean, you could tell, like, there were, like, when Arch came in, he had a couple plays. He's like, all right, I know Arch knows this play, and I know the boys can deliver for him on these. And you could tell it seemed like there was a couple. He was like, all right, let's get this confidence booster in him. Let's get the deep ball. Man, he had – his average pass was 18.6 yards. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. And the passes that corner pass that he made in the end zone, like a lot of these were he's very accurate. He's throwing on his back. He's throwing across his body on one foot, making plays. It was impressive to see. So the thing is like, he's got the intangibles that not many quarterbacks have. And that's what we saw a lot of flashes of. But we also saw a lot of rookie mistakes. That's going to be normal. Right. He's going to be an incredible quarterback. Like, I mean, Heisman talk would start immediately if he's playing the rest of the year, even. I mean, just the way he plays the game. And to add that speed, Twitter went crazy, saying it is not fair for a Manning to have the speed also, because his uncles did not have that at all. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him, the way he develops. I think Sark really was trying to get him the screenplays. Like, there were certain things that I feel like they've been working on in practice that they really wanted him to develop on, and that's what I picked up in the game there as far as Arch goes. Running backs though, so Blue sat out. I saw him on the sidelines. He looked fine. Like he was rooting his team on. I think this was hey, he may have tweaked something. Let's just give him rest because he looked completely fine running around. He was running around on the sidelines. So he looked fine. But as far as the other running backs, what did you guys take from the other running backs? I know before we go into that, I know that Wisner had rolled his ankle on a play. He did end up coming back in the game, but it looked like that was taking him for a little bit. So it was the Gibson show, and oh boy.
Was that a good boy?
Oh yes, dude.
Okay. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Gibson's gonna be a dog, man. He's compact. I mean, he's just built out already. True freshman, just like he's thick, he can hit. He's still got some good jump cut to him. So I'm excited for him. He had a fumble in the game yesterday, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. They were talking about that on TV. They were like, they'll go back and film and watch this as a learning thing because he had that ball way down by his hip almost when he was cutting through that hole. They were like, you got to put that ball up on your chest and tuck it in. He was just kind of loose with the ball. But, yeah, I mean, Gibson runs angry, man. Whenever he gets that ball, he's seeking contact. It was cool to see him get some more looks. Obviously the fumble is unfortunate, but get that out of your system now. Make those mistakes now. Learn experience. We saw a lot of guys come in that hadn't gotten looks either. I know Niblett came in for a little bit. He was getting some looks pretty much that whole second half. I feel like he was getting a lot of looks. So they kind of switched some guys in and out. But, yeah, it was really just the Gibson show in that backfield. 75 yards is, pretty decent to see from him.
Yeah, I didn't even know who this Colin Page person was. 4 touches for 28.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some guys that was coming in. I was like, who is playing right now? You did see. So I think the game plan also changed because once Arch came in because of Quinn going down, you saw a lot more like Bond and Golden. All those guys were still on the field for late in the game. And I think that was okay, let's get first team. Let's keep them in there and let's start really getting them to gel. But Wingo, man, that man. Yeah, God, I'm so excited to watch him play. Like, it's so good to finally see, like, the amount of wide receivers with Bolden, Golden, Bond, Wingo, Moore. Like, those are 5 guys, and we've got guys. We got Cook. Like, we have a crazy amount of wide receivers that can beat you with speed all day, and. Yeah. Playing in the heat of Texas, that's huge. Like you're playing here, you've got to have that because it was hot, boy, and it was humid. I was miserable again. Like I'm not going to another game until it's colder. Like I've got to get 70-degree weather. I'm add of the addition of the jam-packed seats, like the fact that you're given a 1 foot space to sit in is miserable, and we are elbow to elbow. Even against UTSA, man, that crowd did not leave. Like they wanted to see Arch. Like that crowd was there the whole time. We did. I'm not doing heat again. I'm done with it. I'll go to tailgate. I'll hang out, but
that last one, Gab. I thought it might be better this week. The sun was probably already set past the seats when y'all got there. You weren't in direct sunlight.
It was not direct sunlight, but the sun had already beat all that concrete in the field. Yeah. It was so hot. Like it was crazy. But as far as Gibson goes, like Gibson, I loved watching him. Like he was very patient. Like, and he got carries. Like he got the yards every carry. It was like every carry was another first down, and he was able to find a hole and also explode through a tackle or two, over and over. And like you talked about, he'll work on the ball control. Like he's probably gonna be carrying a football all week. But at the end of the day, that's our third string. Yeah. Like it's crazy the amount. And then on top of that, I don't know as far as coaching goes defensively when you're game planning against Texas. Like think about that. You've got, as far as running alone, you've got our top 3 guys, and then you've got Bond and Wingo that can turn around and get a pitch in motion. Mm-hmm. Like it's going to be difficult to game plan against Texas. Like you could know what play is coming, and it's going to be tough. Just the speed that's going around. So, overall, uh, the defense looked good. Let's talk about the defense. What did you guys take away from there?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Colin Simmons, man. He had a big game.
Yep.
That was I feel like that was kind of his coming out party, man, because he's been really quiet to start the year. But 6 tackles, he had a sack. I think he had a couple of tackles for losses. I know a couple of times they were trying to run those short downs, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Dude, he just blew up the gaps. Like how quick he is to get into the gaps. It was impressive to see. Anthony Hill played a great game too. I feel like he was flying all over the field, and then I'm taking everything from Seth, but then seeing Burke with a super athletic play late in the game, that ball. I watched it multiple times. And I'm like, I don't know how that ended up in his hands. It was in a blink of an eye. It was in his hands and he was gone. So seeing the defense get a touchdown was fun to see. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was a pretty good performance from the defense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Colin Simmons. I watched that interview with him after the game and everything. I'm excited about him, but I feel like Anthony Hill's been he's putting up the most tackles on the team, but I don't feel like anybody's really talked much about him. He's just silently just being dominant. And I love it. Last year, he was the flash guy, the true freshman, getting sacks in Alabama, but he's just holding down that defense, and nobody's really talking about it. He's killing it so far this year.
Oh, yeah.
Cornerback play, they played well at corner. Jade, I feel like he's the focal point of the back end, and he's been solid. Yeah. He's commanding everybody out there. And I mean, him switching over, I'm excited. He's going to be a great pick. I'm so happy he stuck around. So our defense is looking so much better than it did last year.
Yeah, I saw an interview yesterday. Sark said he's going to have to work on Burke on his diving into the end zone.
Kind of just tumble into the end zone.
Yeah. And spring game, the same thing happened in the spring game. That's how he got that interception in the spring game. Popped right up in the air and took it back. But no, I saw – go ahead.
No, you finish up. Sorry.
I saw Colin went on Twitter and was like, I got a lot of work to do on Twitter last night. So that was good to see. I mean, take these games. I mean, obviously it's UTSA. We all know that. But I did notice as far as defensively, the way UTSA was able to move the ball was against zone a lot more. Yeah. Like there was a lot of zone play that they seemed to be working on. So, that was a lot of what I saw is they were practicing that. But they were still leaving kind of open holes in certain areas. So I think they were using that to kind of figure out, okay, how is our look going to be when we really need to play zone against a team that can cut you up with an arm and find those holes and the breaks in the defense with the zone. So, that's what I mean is looking at it, the yards don't really – I mean, they only had receiving, they had 132 yards, 128 yards rushing. They did a lot of running the ball. I did notice old McCown, the one that vividly in my memory is when he was trying to escape and then just took a knee 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I was like, oh, he learned that from his daddy. Watching that. He wanted nothing to do with that. Not even throwing the ball away. He's like, nope, I'm just going to lay down right here. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, the defense did play well. I saw we got our Nyblock. I saw he's on the kick return team, and he's the one that I believe he was the one that pushed.
Yeah, he was.
That was so bogus because yes, it's a block in the back. However, that defender just dove right at the punter.
Yeah. They were saying that he pushed him into him. I literally watched it in slow motion. He pushed him away. And the guy still came back in and hit him.
And that's what I saw. That's why I was like, how is that on us? Because I saw the block in the back, but then I saw he was coming right at us. The way that defender came around and still tried to drill him was crazy that they allowed that to happen. Yeah, I feel like worst case, it should have been offsetting penalties.
Right.
For sure. 7-3 Saints. Cowboys just kicked a field goal. So Yeah, we decided to do the podcast in the middle of the Cowboys game. So we're dedicated to the pod, boys. But yeah, overall, it was a good play on both sides. I mean, we got to see Trey Owens. It's funny. So the guy, I'm in group chats with all my fantasy group guys, and I don't understand why they think Arch is going to come in here and just immediately do well. Yes, he did well, but there was so much to work on in that game. If we're playing Georgia, if we're playing even OU with that defense, we're going to get demolished if he sits in the pocket like that. Now, we do have a good offensive line that is going to give him that time, but he's got to, it's just that learning curve. And the guy next to me, he's sitting there. We're in the fourth quarter, and he's sitting there. He finally starts talking. He's like, yeah, my daughter goes to UTSA. And he's like, I don't understand why Arch just isn't starting. Like, he's a much better quarterback than Quinn. Quinn throws on his back foot all the time. That's why the ball sail on. He's like, I focus a lot on, quarterbacks and like how they throw the ball and their mechanics. And I just think Quinn just doesn't have it. And all of a sudden the ball comes up in the air. It's like a 15, 20-yard throw across the field. He goes, see, I mean, Quinn can't make that play. And I look over, I was like, that's Trey Owens, right? He goes, what? I was like, yeah, that's not even hard. She goes, oh, yeah. I didn't even know he was in the game. I was like, yeah, that's kind of what my point is right now, is you guys want Arch in so bad because he's going to be our savior. Next year, he's going to be a Heisman candidate. He's going to lead Texas to an SEC championship, national championship. He may do that this year. We don't know yet. He's still got a lot to work on, though. He's not going to come in and have the poise. Like, now I will say, watching Arch walk on the field and the way he carries himself, he's got that cocky attitude just enough. He's very he's very like, hey, I own this field. Like I deserve the respect to be on this field. And he carries himself that way. You can tell he knows when he's screwing up. And he takes that personal, and he's going to work on that this week. So that's why I'm super excited about it. I don't hate Arch at all. I think Arch is going to be the best quarterback that Texas has ever had, including Vince Young, especially after the wheels that we saw. That's what, Vince was a running quarterback. What we saw from Arch, that's a dual threat. Like, that is going to be crazy. So he's going to be the best quarterback that Texas has ever had. However, at this point, if you had me choose between a healthy Arch or a healthy Quinn, I'm taking a healthy Quinn because of the way he manages the game and makes the decisions that he's making. Now, I didn't see what happened on the interception. Can you guys fill me in? I didn't even go back and look on the Quinn interception that ruined all of my parlays yesterday. What was it? Just a bad throw? Like, was it tips?
He was already messing with his thumb before that.
Yeah,
the assumption would be that it was his thumb. I don't know. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe he overthrew the ball that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of bizarre because he was messing with his thumb even immediately after throwing it. He was messing with his thumb, but it really just looked like a complete miscommunication between him and the receiver. It seemed like he thought that he was going to be somewhere else, and the receiver went the opposite direction. It just seemed ultimately like a miscommunication. But that ball came out fluttering too. I mean, it almost felt like it got tipped, but I don't know. Maybe it just slipped out of his hand type thing.
That's what, to me, there was no receiver anywhere around where he was. No. And I was like, that was weird. And also I was just devastated having to tell all the guys, like, hey, I know we just all joined in on a parlay for no interceptions and would have hit if we didn't have that, but oh well. Thanks. What else? So
shout out to Gutter Helm with the hurdle.
Yes, the hurdle.
That was
cool. That was really his only. How many? He didn't have a whole. Yeah, that was his only reception of the game. My God.
I mean, he doesn't need
Shaheed.
That was awesome.
Shaheed with a monster run for a touchdown. Cool. Cowboys down 14-3. But yeah, no, I mean, again, you go back and look at the receiving. Wingo, 127. Bond, 103. Helm, 1 catch for 49 yards. Cook, 35. 3 receptions for 35 yards, 2 TDs. Golden, 34 yards. Bolden, 29 yards. Moore, 17 yards. Niblett, 15 yards. It's it's now. I think that would have been more. I think I predicted 11 different. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I was off by 1. I said we'd have 11 different receivers catching the ball. But overall, Yeah. I mean, now you go back and look at Michigan. We only had 5 receivers catch a ball.
Yeah.
So he's going to do it again next week. We're going to have the same situation. I think we do see Arch. I think no matter what, we see Arch all next week. I don't think we let Quinn even play next week. Mississippi State, we may not even let Quinn play then. We may let him play depending on if he's healthy and able to come back. But that's 3 weeks of rest that he gets now. You've got Louisiana Monroe, you got Mississippi State, and then I believe there's a bye week in between Mississippi State and Oklahoma. So that's 3 weeks that he's got the rest before Oklahoma. And honestly, the way Oklahoma's playing, I'm not even worried about Oklahoma. It's just getting to Georgia. And so the good news is the schedule, and everything are on our side with this whole thing. I know people are giving hey, what's the over-under that Quinn actually comes back and plays this year without knowing what the injury is. I don't think if he gets to Georgia and he's still out at Georgia and Arch is playing and Arch comes away with that win, I think at that point you just got to ride Arch. Yeah. But Quinn, I think it'll be like a dual quarterback type thing situation. You're still going to let Quinn play. Like Quinn didn't stay to not win. And so I don't know. Boy, the fan base is this is what we were worried about. The fan base is really going to let loose. And I still don't get it. The Arch madness is crazy.
Real. Yeah. Arch will have his time.
He will. He'll have plenty of time.
Right.
The kid's getting paid without even playing football right now. Yeah. So
I knew it was coming whenever I tuned in the TV last night. And the first question they were asking after the highlights was, does Texas have a quarterback controversy going on? I'm like, dude, we're already going over this right now. I mean, it's Quinn's team. It's Quinn's team. And like you said, we saw a lot of those freshman type mistakes from Arch that we saw from Quinn when Quinn got here early, just telegraphing passes, sitting in the pocket too long, So, but it's just funny. We knew it was coming. And then with Arch coming out the way he came out with a bang like that, we knew the fan base was just going to go crazy for Arch. So, it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, like we said, I don't see Quinn coming back next week. That's not really necessary in the game against Louisiana Monroe, but going forward after that, kind of how is Sark going to maneuver this now going forward? Is he just going to, let, like you said, quarterback by committee type thing and let Arch get some looks as well early? I don't know, man. It's just going to be interesting to see. It really depends on how bad that injury is, because Quinn was pretty upset walking back to the locker room with the jersey over his head, the towel over his head. He was pretty dejected looking, even on the sideline when he came back out in street clothes. He still looked, like he was happy for Arch, but at the same time, you could tell he was like, man, that should be me out there right there, So it's going to be interesting to see how Sark maneuvers these next couple of weeks with this, because, all eyes are going to be on this situation now.
Don't know. It looks like the AP poll is out.
Is it?
Has it dropped? I know ESPN dropped their little.
Yeah, I do see the college football rankings on ESPN. It looks like Texas is going to stay at number 2, but they have more votes for first in there. They went from 42 to 10. So week 3, they were Georgia 54, Texas with 4 votes, Ohio State with 5 votes. In week 4, Georgia with 42 votes, Texas with 10 votes to be number 1, which is, kind of what I expected. I think if Quinn stays in and stays healthy that game, I do think Texas moves up. But I think that little question mark there may have a little bit to do with that. But who else? Yeah, Missouri, Tennessee, 7 and 8. A&M moves back into the number 24. Nebraska's 22. Iowa State's 21. UNLV moves into the top 25.
Wait, is this the updated?
This can't be updated because LSU is ranked 16 right now. Well, It's got to be updated.
It may just be like a projection. I don't know if they usually come out with it until usually.
Well, the votes have
Sunday.
changed, so we'll see.
I'm okay with staying at number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we already got a target on our back being Texas, but there's another target whenever you're the number 1 team.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm fine with staying at number 2.
I mean, we know that we've got a couple weeks, and then we can take number 1 by ourselves, and I'd rather have it that way and make it clear cut on the field.
Sure.
So
yeah. Don't give Kirby any more bulletin board material.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, for real.
We'll quickly go over anything else from. Oh, let's talk about the light show real quick. Cool, really cool. Minus the smoke. My God,
dude! Every time those people in that corner, it looks like they're being gassed, man.
Oh, it's bad. Like I was probably 4 sections away, and the wind was blowing right towards us, and I had to take my hat off and hide it because I was like, this thing is going to get turned orange. Like it was an absurd amount of smoke, and we were 4 sections away. Those people in the corner, oh no! Like and the smoke grenade kept going as we're playing. Like they had to. It seemed like they had to delay the game a little bit because of smoke, and then they just kept playing. I could barely see Arch playing on the other side of the field. There was so much smoke still. It's like, let's come up with a plan B on something besides smoke. Maybe some CO2, maybe actual flames, whatever you want to do. But it was very cool because
it looked cool on TV.
The second half overall, like when touchdowns happen, when that first touchdown happened, when it was actually dark and the lights go off and they start flashing and everything.
Yeah.
Boy, I need that. Has the Georgia game been called a time yet? I need that game to be a night game. Dude, if it is currently TBD. If that is a night game, the atmosphere that is going to be created on top of that with the light show. They did Texas Fight where you're putting your phones up on each side of the stadium. That's whole cool. Deal all in the second half was awesome. Like I need that to happen because a touchdown at night is a different world in that stadium now. And it's really cool to see it against UTSA, a team we know we're going to blow out. The stadium is still full the whole game. It was awesome to see. The bandwagon fans are back for the Texas Longhorns. The stadium's full. Prices for tickets are absurd. Texas is fully back, boys. Like that is official. What else did y'all get from the game? Anything else you wanted to talk about from that?
I mean, not specifically the game, but I was like, dude, how fortunate is our schedule this year?
Yes.
Like I know we were like talked about like Texas got a favorable schedule, but like now that the season's panning out, Oklahoma's not looking that good. Like the only I don't want to be cocky, but the only real game on our schedule is Georgia.
Yes. I did add a possible in Kentucky now after watching Kentucky play. I mean, Georgia looked bad, but even to make Georgia look that bad, we're going to Kentucky. So
yeah, Kentucky played really good defense.
Oh no, Kentucky's coming here. Kentucky.
Yeah, I was about to say Kentucky.
That won't be as bad, but.
Yeah, but then the week before they got 31. They got throttled by South Carolina. I mean, they're not looking like I thought they were. They held up decent against Georgia yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with the SEC. Like any one of these games, those teams could step up and play like Georgia. They can play like Tennessee. Like any of these teams, like Arkansas, as much as they hate us, that's just a different fuel. Now we're going to demolish Arkansas. We talked about that on the podcast at the tailgate yesterday. We're going to kill them. And I told Jacob that I was like, "Hey man, like we're coming into your house and we're taking everything from your refrigerator this time. Like it's going to happen." So I'm still debating. I actually think I'm leaning towards going to that game. Nice. I think it's an 11 o'clock game. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock game. So I think just Friday night and fly out Sunday or Saturday night. I think I'm going. I got to get revenge from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, for real.
Dude, did y'all see Tennessee do an onside kick when they were already up by like 30?
Yeah. Somebody else sent that. I was like, wait a minute, what? They were up 65-0 at half.
Is that what?
Yeah, really? It was 37-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yes. I looked at the score. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know. It was in the 60s for sure. I think it was
65. 65-0 at the end of the first
what did
half.
that score end up being?
71.
71. They only kicked a couple field goals in the second half because they benched everybody.
37 points in the first half. Like, act like you've been there before, boys. Like, come on. Who do they have next week? I think they have
That's Oklahoma, the game day game.
Oh yeah. That's we'll talk about that. We'll save that. But let's see. So games around so obviously Georgia, Kentucky. Georgia scores one touchdown at the end of the game. Kentucky, I don't know what they were doing. You don't punt the ball there with what is it, 4 minutes left?
Yeah,
like you got to go for it at that point. Like if you don't make it, you're still in the same predicament of you've got to hold them.
Right.
So why would you not take the chance there? The way they've been driving the ball, they were able to move the ball a little bit on that drive. Kentucky kind of gave that one up. Georgia was lucky on that. But
I mean, you got like a 4th and 7. I think it was right on the other side of midfield. I was talking to my friend when that was going on. I was like, this is your opportunity right here. Like, you got to go take it. I knew as soon as they punted the ball back to Georgia, I was like, you're not going to see another chance. Like, you're playing the number 1 team, man. You got to take a risk, especially when you're only scored 12 points in the game. Just go for it. See what happens. That was kind of disappointing to see him punt that ball, though, because I mean, they ended up getting it back until there was like 9 seconds left or something like that left when they got it back.
So yeah, Georgia looks shaky. Alabama, Wisconsin, 42-10. I mean, kind of figured that was going to happen. Wisconsin,
I didn't think it was going to be that much. Really well.
Yeah. Ole Miss 40-6 against Wake Forest. They roll. Mizzou squeaks by Boston College. That was a good game throughout. It looked like I wasn't able to watch that. But I mean, Boston College playing some good football overall. I mean, I know they came away with a loss, but they had of course. Well, I say that when you beat Florida State, I don't know if is Florida State going to be the first ever team to go undefeated in regular season one year and then not win a regular season game the next year. Has that ever happened? Certainly that hasn't ever happened before. But they're on easy track right now.
Yeah.
Easy track. Like, it's crazy how bad they are now.
It's going to be the worst off ever recorded. It's insane.
I can't. Like 30 for 30. Like, and John said we got to have this investigated. Like, something has happened.
That's so crazy, that fall off.
It's embarrassing at this point, especially how much they whined with all the lawsuits and everything else at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't that team. We were right. We didn't know how right we were. I mean, it's bad how right everybody was now. Let's see. Obviously, Tennessee over Kent State, 71-0. Oregon over Oregon State. Oregon put it on them. They finally figured out how to play some football. So we'll see. We'll see how well they do going forward. Miami smoked Ball State. Miami, man, they're
good.
That's a reckoning football team. That's a front runner for the ACC all day right now.
And I kept waiting for a good upset yesterday. Nothing.
I know. Yeah. We didn't expect it last week, and all chaos went last week. And this week, our last hope, we all held on. Everybody in the nation was holding on to Georgia losing last week. So, Utah State, 38-21. Utah coming away with a win there on the road. Oklahoma State, 45-10 over Tulsa. Ollie Gordon is nowhere to be found. I need to look at that box score.
We broke him.
Yeah, he 17 carries for 41 yards. Bro, what has happened to that man?
That's crazy.
Ever since the Big 12 championship, that guy has disappeared off the face of the earth.
2.4 per carry. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Oklahoma over Tulane, 34-19. Still a close game. It's only Tulane. Oklahoma is not good. They're going to get railroaded next week.
Dang it. I didn't even keep following up because Ollie Gordon busted my parlay. Arnold, I would have hit on the under on Arnold for the TDs.
Oh yes, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, Arnold had one TD. I was hesitant. I almost hit that one too. I was like,
Yeah, the game was close in the fourth quarter, man. Tulane had that pick six, I think, with about 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter and make it a 5-point game. I mean, it was interesting late. Oklahoma was able to pull away with a pretty long run from Arnold on that drive. But, yeah, that score doesn't really show how close that game truly was going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah, that just makes me hate Gordon so much more.
Oh, I know. LSU comes back.
That was a good game.
36-33.
That was wild. I was talking crap about how terrible LSU looked at the beginning of the game, and then somehow they fought their way back.
Well, they did look terrible at the beginning of the game. I don't know how they ended up coming back, but at the end of the day, like LSU is not a good football team. Like they're gonna struggle all the rest of the way. I don't think they'll be ranked by the end of the season. Like I think they're with their schedule, the way I don't think they have. I don't think Kelly stays at the end of the year or by the end of the year. I don't think he's there.
Really?
So I think off season he'll leave, but
I think you still got another one on him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their schedule. I mean, they still got to play Ole Miss. They still got to play Alabama. Still got to play Oklahoma. So, yeah, I mean, I see LSU as a potential 4-loss team. Which I know they had some pretty big hype to start the season. So, one game that was kind of underneath the radar that I don't know if y'all saw, but Washington State beating Washington. Nobody really talked about that game, and I was kind of surprised to see Washington State take that game. I mean, I know Washington lost a lot, obviously, but that's not a game that I saw them losing, especially with it being at home.
Repping for the Pac-2.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that was a surprise for sure. I mean, Washington's completely decimated.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, it was great to watch.
Yeah, they lost every single starter on the offensive side for sure from last year. But Michigan looks bad again. They won 28-18 against Arkansas State.
See Warren get benched at the end of the game.
No.
He got benched in the third. It was around the mid-third quarter. After he threw his third interception, they took him out of the game and put, I believe his name's Orgy in the game. So that was that was interesting, man. I mean, Michigan was in control of that game. I watched most of it on my little split screen with YouTube TV, but they made it a little interesting late in the game. It definitely didn't. The final score didn't look as good as Michigan hoped, but man, that Michigan offense just can't find their identity.
When did they bench him at what point in the game?
Third. He said third. I thought he said
he only had 4 passes. Orgy only had 4 pass attempts.
Yeah, they ran the ball. Yeah, they ran the ball like crazy at the end of the game.
Interesting.
They really didn't even give him a good look at anything late in the game.
Notre Dame barrel rolls over Purdue. Our old boy Hudson Card, only 124 yards passing, 2 interceptions, 1 TD.
He's the next Aaron Rodgers, remember?
Herman
said.
Yeah. What else?
Got to talk about the Colorado State game. I don't know if y'all saw that. Colorado obviously looked pretty good, but I don't know if you saw after the game he wouldn't shake hands with the other quarterback, and it's like, oh my god, dude.
There's so drama.
It's so much drama for a freaking 5-win team.
Did you see what they did for the interview?
Yeah, they had the offensive line that looked like they were held hostage behind
them. They all looked like they were, like, hey, if you don't give us what we need, we're going to execute all these guys. I don't understand that mentality. Like, they're just too cocky.
Yeah.
Like, they think they deserve everything college football gives them and that everyone should bow down to them. Bro, your football team's not good. Like you guys individually are good, but your football team's not good. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all saw that one play which I thought it was super funny, but I'm blanking on his name, but Fowler or whatever, he has two last names, the quarterback for Colorado State.
Yeah.
He had a 1 yard run and Travis Hunter hit him, knocked him out of bounds, and him and Travis Hunter were talking to each other, and he hit him with the too small celebration.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a 1 yard run be ended with a too small celebration. I was like, that's absurd, dude. Come on.
Yeah, those teams hate each other, I will say. I mean, after last year, with the dirty hit, it's
yeah, for sure.
Guys, I really wish this had been a closer game. It would have been a lot more fun.
Dude, if you look at Colorado's schedule, I mean, every game left on their schedule now that they're getting into Big 12 play. I mean, I don't know if you can find more than 2 games there that they win. I mean, Baylor next week, I'll give them that one. But after that, I mean, they got Kansas State, they got Arizona, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is a bowl team at this point, which is crazy with the hype they're freaking getting still.
Right.
I don't think they're getting hype. Like everyone's talking trash. Even Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy was trying to like call off the dogs and like, hey, don't be talking about Dion like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like everyone's starting to turn the tide. I can't stand them anymore. I was a rider last year just because it was cool the way they turned their program around and everything.
Yeah,
I am with the whole now. Apparently, it's a rumor, and my God, the Saints are just Count Kamara just like a 50-yard run. But there was I don't know if it was a rumor or not, but telling the band not to play when your son scores a touchdown and play his rap song that he had made instead. Even if it's just what the plan was to do it for the touchdown and then it goes right into the fight song. I don't care. Like this is college football. You're not no. And why is just the quarterback going to get that? Does every player get its own? Now the sound guys are going to be like, oh, who scored the touchdown? I got to play that soundtrack now. Like, no. Like, get over yourself.
It's too much, man. It's too
way
much.
too much. And that's I don't know. Like they're saying Prime's going to go be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I'll tell you, his attitude does not translate to the NFL. Like the way he coaches, I don't think that translates to the NFL at all. And, and honestly, the way he coaches in general right now, like watching last week's game, I didn't watch this week's, but watching the way he tried to throw the ball down the field to cover the game.
Yeah.
Like he does not make good coaching decisions, especially late. So,
we're judging a guy that like he got 5-star players to come play at Jacksonville State.
Yes,
well, surprisingly.
Yes,
wow, he's a great coach.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm over all of them. Like I can't do it.
The cockiness is just too much for me, man.
Yeah,
it's too much right now. I don't know if y'all saw the. It's kind of an underrated game, but the Pittsburgh West Virginia game. It was a super exciting game. Super exciting game. It ended up 38-34. And Pitt scored 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game. One of them being with 30 seconds left in the game. It was one of those games that not a big deal as far as being on any kind of major network or anything like that. But still, I mean, those are 2 rivals, and it ended up being a super fun game to watch, especially in the fourth quarter. It was just back and forth.
Dude, but I feel like that game every year ends up being such a great dogfight game. I don't know of a fan base that – I mean, I want to say Red River is more hostile, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, watching that on TV, that looks insane.
They hate each other.
Yeah.
It's not a neutral site, though. They go to each other's places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell you. If OU Texas was a home and home, that nothing would touch that. Because we hate A&M, but their fans are so nice. Like it's tough to like if you're at the game, like you're going to talk your trash and everything, but their fans are so nice. Like OU fans and Texas fans colliding at each other's stadiums.
Yeah, be wild.
The amount of police presence you would need would be wild. Like that is asking because Texas fans would love to go to Norman, especially this year. Oh, I'd love to be at Norman this year.
Oh, yeah.
We would barrel roll
Yeah,
over
it'd be
them,
fun.
and it would be ugly. Like that would be a blast. So sometimes it is better to have a neutral site because the hatred between there. I like the
Yeah,
Texas A&M
absolutely.
games being home and home because A&M fans, at least on their side, are very civil as far as fans go. They're delusional and they're part of a cult, but they are
Yeah.
very nice fans. Like I wouldn't have a problem travel like this week or this game this year. I don't have a problem going A&M. Like I know everyone's going to be cool and chill. Like we're going to have those 1%, which we have a ton of those also. But overall, I don't have a problem going to OU. I'm not going by myself. I'll tell you that.
I can
right
see it
now.
now. TJ getting arrested in the crowd at A&M.
Right, lock me up.
Yeah, we'll
Lock
come back
me
to
up.
this video.
TJ's gonna have his President
yeah.
Trump moment.
Yeah. We'll have T-shirts made with my mugshot. That'll be the day. Holy cow! No. What else? Anything else you boys wanted to talk about this week? It's kind of a boring slate, but we had a lot to talk about with just this game. Okay, our game. We'll see. Keep everybody updated with Quinn. Kind of his thing. I fully see Arch playing most of the game next week and let Trey Owens come in and play next week. Mississippi State, I see Arch playing that week also, depending on, if Quinn is fully healthy, I think Quinn starts against Mississippi State. But yeah, I mean, we've got some time to be able to get in there and develop Arch with the next couple of weeks. Then we've got a bye week before we go to OU. So I feel fine. My temperature gauge is fine. I mean, you take the team last year with Malik and hoping Malik is playing against Mississippi State and these guys, I'm questioning like, okay, this game may be a little closer than what we thought. Yeah. Not the case with Arch. Not the case with Owens. I mean, Owens looked good for the little time that we saw him also. So, we'll see. Does Owens stay next year?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Especially with some of the recruits coming in, I don't know, man.
Does Arch stay after next year?
Yes, I don't know why we're even talking about this. Like that, if Arch wasn't staying, it would be this year.
No, I mean he can go to the NFL after next year, though.
After next year,
if he wanted, I'm saying, is he going to be a one and done as a full-time starter? Or is he going to stay for his senior year?
That I don't know.
What are you talking about, Arch?
Yeah, he's talking about Arch.
I mean,
so what he's saying is play this year, play next year, then after next year, would he go?
I mean,
That's what you're saying, right, Seth?
Right.
Yeah.
He'd only be a sophomore at that point.
No, he was a true freshman last year.
Yeah, but
he's a redshirted freshman this year?
Yeah, he redshirted.
Still.
Next year he'd be a sophomore?
Yeah, next year he'd be a sophomore. He'd be a junior in
Okay.
Let's look.
Yeah. Because I know Quinn's a junior, so Quinn could definitely come back. I mean, I don't think he will.
I feel confident. I feel confident on what I'm saying right now, but I'm just going to verify. Freshman. He's a freshman this year. Class freshman.
Yeah, redshirt freshman.
Okay. I guess I'm wrong.
Stats don't lie.
Yes, you are.
We're not questioning whatsoever.
I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I knew being a redshirt freshman didn't take away a year of eligibility, but I still thought he was eligible to draft because, I mean, in like the school cycle, he will be a junior.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can go to the NFL after your sophomore season.
You can.
Yeah.
Regardless if you redshirted, I think 2 years is what was required.
I think 2 years. Also, we got it looks like Raja Bell's son. Raja Bell, the NBA star.
Yeah.
Looks like his son may be committing, possibly. That's what they're projecting.
I didn't see that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think he's a 4 or 5-star quarterback. I saw that the other day.
You're talking about the quarterback commit we already have?
Wait, did he already commit?
Yeah, he committed.
I saw something
4 or 5 months ago.
No. What I was looking at is Hold on.
Yeah, he committed in June 2017.
I
Dia
thought
Bell.
I didn't realize. Yeah, Dia. I thought he committed June 17th.
Yeah.
Is what this says. Hard commit.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw it was reversed. It was looking at maybe decommitting, but either way, we got Raja Bell's son. I didn't realize that's who it was. When I was watching that,
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
interesting.
I was like, oh, I consider him a former Maverick before anything, but
Dude, he's a stud too, man. That kid's gonna be a great quarterback.
yeah.
Stud.
What else?
We got, slight look ahead. I won't go too much because we're going to do a little preview.
Don't
for
ruin
next
it because we don't have much for next week playing Monroe, dude.
Yeah,
So
The
go ahead.
only thing I'm going to say is Monroe's 2-0 coming into this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
they were foreshadowing.
There's also another thing about them that I would like to bring up, but I'm not going to until our preview. So
Bring it up. Tease it.
That I didn't know.
Tease it.
I mean, I can't tease it without just giving it away.
Okay, fine. We'll save it.
We'll save it. I'll
put it in the
talk
notes.
about it. Yeah, I'll put it in the notes.
Yeah. We're already at almost a full hour mark this week, which I did not think we were going to get to.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a boring
I thought it
game.
would be like a 20-minute episode or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, we got a text from Zach. I thought he was going to continue on with his
Slander.
elite quarterback from yesterday, but no, it was just his bets for his locks.
Parlays.
All right. Well, Arch is the guy right now until we figure out about Quinn. We got Louisiana Monroe next week. We'll talk about that on Thursday. We'll release an episode talking about next week. So until then, hook 'em, boys.
Welcome, man.